Chances are, if you're a parent, teacher, grandparent, or some other family friend or loved one, you have a child or student in your life who you want to grow up to be a successful and good person. Today, we're going to look at one of the most common ways that parents and schools have been positively influencing and teaching their children and students for generations: books and storytelling. We're going to look at what makes stories and reading important, and what we should be looking for in books and stories to ensure that we are providing the greatest positive influence that we can, and to start getting our children and students more interested in reading. So without further ado, let's get into the story of stories. My name is Mr. Towns, and let's talk about the books and stories that your child and students are using to grow and learn. Now, when we talk about books for young children and students, we're generally talking about two different formats. First, you have traditional picture books, which are priced anywhere from $10 to $25 depending upon whether they're hardcover or paperback. And then you have novel, chapter books, which can be priced anywhere from $7 to $8 all the way up to $15 depending on the page count and age range. These are more text-based and visually imaginative than picture books are. While you can generally find both of these book formats at the same locations, from school libraries to online at Amazon to local bookstores, they serve two distinct purposes when it comes to influencing and educating your children and students. So let's look at the value that books and stories provide and talk about how chapter books and picture books can both help to develop your child or student into that successful, good person that you want them to be. So what makes these books so important? What is the value of reading these stories? Obviously, there's the value of improving one's actual reading ability through practice, but then there's also reading comprehension, which might be even more important. You may have heard the term before, but comprehension is the ability to understand what is being read, and to understand the significance of what is being read. It's like the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is how much information that you know, whereas wisdom or comprehension is being able to understand and apply that information into your daily life and needs. Let's look at some basic neuroscience theory to see how reading and stories are important. So with the way that the economy is developing, the job market is shifting away from traditional, simple, single-function jobs and going more towards entrepreneurial, innovative jobs that require creativity, the development of new ideas, and critical decision-making. What is important to know is that people do not actually create original ideas. We create innovative ideas. Think about your dreams. Everything you see and experience in your dreams is something or a combination or transformation of something that you have experienced before in real life. When we experience things in life, we take in information called qualia. This information can consist of different things. There's audio and visual information, the things that we see and hear. Then there's also things like proprioception and so on. When we take in this information, the language center of our brain uses our known tools of expression, words, phrases, related symbols, to package that information and mentally communicate that information to the rest of our brain, where it is then processed and where patterns are recognized and where ideas are made. Then when ideas or some response are developed, they are packaged using that same information and then sent from the brain to the rest of the body to be expressed by you. So here's where reading books and stories specifically helps. Learning new words and becoming familiar with spelling, grammar, syntax, phonics, and common communication styles such as phrases all builds up the language center, increasing their ability to take in, identify, understand, and think about information and experiences in what they're reading. Additionally, it improves their ability to speak and describe information and ideas. Another key benefit comes from the influential experiences that the reader engages with. Remember when we said that people don't think of original ideas, but instead think of innovative ideas? And how the ideas that we think of are some combination or transformation of things that we've experienced before? Well, when a reader is engaged in reading a story or book, whether fiction or nonfiction, they take in the information that comes from the story's events or topics, including everything from the conflicts, character solutions, illustrations, and more. And if that information sticks, it can be recalled and used to recognize patterns, understand concepts, and create ideas in the future. But it has to stick. That's where the entertainment factor and the emotional storytelling come in. The emotions behind the entertainment provide context around the information to make it easier for the mind to remember, recall, and connect. So reading stories enhances your vocabulary, helps you understand concepts and ideas, helps you create and express your own ideas and thoughts, and develops your creativity and ability to innovate. Stories also provide educational and moral lessons. Effective stories combine the creative development, educational and moral lessons, and emotional entertainment into one seamless narrative, where there is learning, storytelling, and enjoyment all at the same time without disrupting each other. Now, there is a problem that we face when it comes to student and child reading. Once a child reaches about 3rd grade, their interest in reading starts to significantly drop off. Then, just from my own personal observation of students in my teaching, once the child reaches about middle school or junior high a few years later, they start to get into this rough period where they're faced with all sorts of moral and social dilemmas, and that's where a lot of bad habits can start to form that could otherwise be avoided. I believe this period of struggle is marked by increasing difficulty without increasing motivation. At this age, students are too old for school to seem new and exciting, but too young to be concerned with preparing for their future, at least on their own. It's at this point that they need motivation and inspiration. Similarly, there's a jump from simple picture books all the way up to complex chapter books without any introduction or transition. So students aren't feeling motivated to read, and student attention starts going towards other things like social media. So why does this happen? Well, for one, there aren't a lot of stories that transition students from simple picture books to the longer chapter book format. Too many picture book stories are one-directional and linear, meaning that the reader is simply being told the story in a way that is simple, quick, and easy, rather than experiencing the story in a way that is personal, emotionally engaging, and that invests and connects the reader to the complex characters, narrative, and world. Authors need to remember that while it may be the author's story, it is the reader's journey. Simple and easy books work good for younger grades just learning to read, but once students hit 3rd grade and are beginning to look towards chapter books, they need a story that introduces them to the emotionally engaging and complex traits of chapter books while remaining in a format that is familiar and comfortable to them. Remember, these students need motivation and inspiration to continue developing and investing in themselves as a person, and stories can provide that motivation and inspiration, even if they don't know the exact job title that they want. Good stories can emotionally inspire them to be more inventive, to care for others, to be a leader, to discover their purpose, and to make an impact. And stories can find entertaining ways to introduce important, applicable concepts that they may not use right now, but that they will use and build upon later on down the road. So let's look at how we are making better stories for your children and students. So here at Townstown Stories That Inspire, we are focused on making better stories for your students and children by focusing on 3 different aspects: emotional engagement, educational integration, and community. When it comes to building emotional engagement within your reader, we start with emotionally engaging character arcs within the characters that students can relate to, identify with, and be inspired by. From Squeaks McGeeks to Sir Loin the Knight, we get to see these characters not just go through an easy path, but struggle and build and persevere through failure to success, to achieve their goals and dreams despite obstacles, despite setbacks and failures, and despite weakness like so many of us face in our actual lives. Through those character arcs, students can see and experience how they can overcome the struggles in their own lives. As we transition from emotional engagement to educational integration, we're going to look at an aspect that they both share: engaging experiences. As students and children, our readers, are reading our stories, they're going to experience things that they've never seen before. They're going to work through and live through experiences that are interesting, exciting, but also personal to them, that take on their creativity and use it to build something that they're proud of and that they'll remember forever. In our book, Penguin Town, readers have the opportunity not just to read and learn about our Penguin Town, but to actually help build Penguin Town. They get to look at the problems that the penguins are facing, the different conflicts and disagreements they have, and the reader gets to actually build the town, make compromises, make critical decisions that will help prepare them for the future, which, as you may know in life, is filled with creative, critical decisions that require compromise and the ability to consider the needs of different points of view. Along with the engaging experiences, we make sure that every story is built around a seamless narrative. Pretty much what this means is that throughout our stories, readers are going to be learning all sorts of different concepts, from economics to leadership to entrepreneurship and innovation. And normally when you get an educational children's book, the educational factors pop out like random fun facts that just jump at you and completely disrupt the story, disrupt the emotional experience that should be inspiring the students. To help preserve the inspiration and the emotion, what we make sure to do is use examples. So you might never hear the word innovation within the book itself, but you'll see the concepts. And through the emotional investment, the students, the readers, will remember those examples, and they'll be able to recall them later on in life. So throughout each story, you'll find all sorts of different events that exemplify the concepts that we're wanting to teach our readers. But then at the end of the book, you'll find a retelling that will explicitly describe all of the different concepts contained within the book. And this can be used by parents and teachers to help tell the kids and teach the kids what they've been learning about, what they've been reading about. And it helps to build a unique bond between the parents and their children, and teachers and the children, in a way as more of a role model rather than just an instructor. And this takes us over into community, the community that we build around our stories. We start with the world building, the Ducktown, Penguin Town, Sirloin the Knight, all these different characters, species, lands that all come together to make up the world of Townstown that students can get invested in, that students can explore and have adventures in, and they all connect and build up to the great story of Townstown that will be revealed in time. And students can follow the character arcs that they relate to and connect with most, so that it's not over after just one book, but it's something they can commit to and build upon in their own life and grow with the characters year after year. And along with that, we make sure that every story is family oriented, and with all of the different character arcs, all of the different concepts we're teaching, we truly believe that when a parent is reading the book with their child, both of them can get something out of that story. When a teacher is reading a book or one of our stories to their students, we believe that all of them can get something out of that. Not just the student and not just the parent or not just the teacher, but both of them can get something out of this story, and then they also get that opportunity to bond together over what they're learning, over what they're being inspired to do in the future. This is an opportunity for families and classrooms who want to grow together and be future focused, to achieve their dreams while strengthening their family. Because dreams and family don't have to be mutually exclusive, but rather family and classrooms and teams can achieve their dreams together through growth. At Townstown, it's not about the stories that we write. It's about the stories that we inspire in the lives of our readers, of teachers, students, parents, and families, communities. So join us here at Townstown. Grab a story and sit down with your loved ones, with the people you care about, and let's grow together. Let's learn together, and let's move forward together into a brighter future where we fulfill our purpose, make an impact, and bring our dreams to reality.